Councilman Brewer. I just want to do a quick check, and we are live, so there's nothing non-public about this. But I wanted to make sure everyone had received two items. One, the 2021 committee list, the revised version that was just sent about 3 minutes ago. There was a second one, and then the charter school resolution, which was sent maybe about 5 minutes ago. So you may want, if you haven't already, take a chance to pull up those two documents.
We're good on our end.
Okay, I think all of our folks are here. All right. Welcome to the January 4th, 2021 regular meeting of the Gary Common Council. We wish everyone a very happy and joyous and prosperous new year. As is our custom, we will begin with the word of prayer, and we will turn to our parliamentarian, Councilman Ron Brewer.
Thank you. And shall we pray? Father God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this day. We thank you for a day that we have not seen. We thank you for allowing us to cross over into 2021, oh God. Lord, we know that some did not make it, oh God. And Lord, for that, we pray for families right now, God, that's grieving loved ones that was not able to make it, oh God. Unsudden deaths, oh God, because of the coronavirus, oh God. We ask that you be the comforter that you are, oh God, for those families. And Lord, as we enter into this meeting, oh God, we ask that you bless each and every last one of us, oh God. Bless us with wisdom and knowledge right now, oh God. Bless this administration as we continue to lead this city to a new direction, oh God. Bless right now in your son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Man, thank you, Councilman Brewer. And would you be so kind to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
and to the
and to the
republic
republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Councilman Brewer, for your prayer and leadership in our Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilwoman Atkins.
Here.
Councilman Brewer.
Here.
Councilwoman Brown.
Present.
Councilman Brown. Councilwoman Caldwell.
Here.
Councilman Lay.
Present.
Councilman Weatherspoon.
Present.
Councilman Williams.
Here.
President Godwin.
Present.
Mr. President, there are 8 present, 1 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. With 8 members present, we have a quorum to conduct the business of the Gary Common Council. Council members, you have received via email minutes from our most previous meeting of December 15th, 2020. Is there a motion to approve said minutes?
Second.
Is there a motion?
The motion was by Councilwoman Atkins. You want to repeat?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay. It's been moved by Councilwoman Atkins and seconded by Councilman Brewer. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Atkins.
Yes.
Councilman Brewer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown.
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
Councilman Lay.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What's the question? I'm sorry.
These are the minutes.
Oh, yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
And President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. With a vote of 8-0, the minutes of our December 15th, 2020 meeting are approved. Assignment of council pending ordinances and resolutions on first reading.
Mr. President, before you do that, we might need to go ahead and do the committees at this time.
Okay, council members, everyone, I believe, should have received the 2021 committee list. You are very correct. Thank you, Councilman Brewer.
Yes.
And so it will entertain a motion to approve the most revised version of the 2021 committee list.
So moved, Mr. President.
And moved, is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Atkins. Councilwoman Atkins.
Your microphone is doing something.
Not on.
We're not hearing you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you
Yes,
now.
there we go.
Okay, yes.
Councilman Brewer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown.
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
Councilman Lay.
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon.
No.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 7 yes, 1 no.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. With 7 votes in the affirmative, there are sufficient votes to approve the 2021 committee list, including the appointment of Councilman Ronald G. Brewer as the parliamentarian. Now we will have our assignment of council pending ordinances and resolutions on first reading.
CPO 2020-82, an ordinance by the Gary Common Council establishing holiday schedule for the city of Gary calendar year 2021, sponsored by members of the Gary Common Council.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Brown.
last year we did not, Columbus Day was not a holiday for the city of Gary. So I don't know why it's in here this year.
I believe we were,
Last year there was an election. There is no election day. But I don't know why we have the October 11th Columbus Day. I don't know.
so I believe there were some looking at the county holiday schedule and some attempts at alignment, but I'm neutral either way. I will defer to, I don't know, Attorney Colvin or Attorney McCain, if either of you want to comment on if you have a preference as it relates to unions and other considerations in terms of the numbers of holidays.
Yes. Mr. President,
Yes, Councilman Brewer.
I would make a motion that we would strike Columbus Day at this time out of the 2021 calendar for the city of Gary.
Second.
Mr. Chair,
We need to first assign this, I believe, and I guess if we would entertain it on all 3 readings or something like that later on, we would do that. But I think at this, Attorney Williams.
Oh, I'm sorry, it is the ordinance. All right.
Yes, I would hope that someone from the city chimes in because there were some issues as it related to some of the collective bargaining units, as that was in their collective bargaining agreement. Now, I don't know if the city has changed that or not, but that was an issue last year.
I don't know either, and it had something to do with election day, and since there is no election day this year, I'd have to ask, maybe defer to Arlene Colvin, maybe she could tell me.
Well, Mr. President,
Unmuted.
Yes.
There is no election day.
let me take this motion off of the table so that way you can have discussion, Mr. President. I withdraw my motion at this time.
Okay. The
I
motion
believe
is-
it was year before last that the issue of, well, in 2019, the issue of Columbus Day came up, where we had to really reinstate it because it wasn't so much the actual holiday, but the number of holidays. And I think it didn't become an issue last year because Election Day was still on the calendar and we had the same number of holidays, even though it wasn't Columbus Day per se. So I think that's the issue, the number that we have in a year as opposed to what they actually are. So
Okay.
I haven't talked to the unions about it one way or the other, but I'm just letting you know what I remember the issue was before.
Okay, well, then will you let us know then? after
I
you-
can, yes.
Okay,
So I think for now, we're just going to assign it and, right? Okay, so I'm going to assign this to finance. Okay. Please proceed, Madam Clerk.
CPO 2020-83, an ordinance establishing a new fund, departments, and budget for the Section 108 Loan Debt Service Reserve Fund, sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Gary, Arlene Colvin, Acting City Controller.
Finance.
okay.
CPO 2020-84, an ordinance appropriating funds for special revenue budgets for the fire and park department for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2021 and ending December 31st, 2021. Sponsored by Mayor John Prince, City Garrett, Alex Cole, staff, City Control.
Finance.
Mr. President, ends assignment of pending ordinances and resolutions.
Let me ask a question. I know that Attorney Colvin, you wanted to add 2020-85 to the agenda. Should we do that now?
Oh, I don't have a speaker.
Someone is, please unmute it. Should we do that now? As well as there's an additional resolution we'd like to add.
That would be appropriate at this point.
All right, so Madam Clerk, do you have the language for 2020-85?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
but you would have to suspend the rules to
I would
add.
like to suspend the rules and entertain a motion to add CPO 2020-85 to the agenda.
Second.
President, is there two that you add into the agenda, or just one?
For now, one, and then we're going to entertain a motion for another one as well.
Okay. All right.
All right. So I guess I moved and there was a second. Any questions or discussion? Right. Do we need you to read the title?
I'm gonna take the vote and then I can.
Okay. Please proceed, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Atkins,
Yes.
Councilman Brewer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, we have sufficient votes to add CPO 2020-85 to our agenda.
CPO 2020-85, an ordinance approving subsidies for various city accounts for a calendar year ending December 31st, 2020. Sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Garrett, Arlene Colvin, Acting City Controller.
Finance. I'd also like to entertain a motion that was emailed earlier to everyone, and I just believe it was emailed to you, a revised version, Clerk Reynolds. And I'm going to turn to Councilwoman Atkins for a motion to add an additional item. Councilwoman Atkins?
I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules and add CPR 2021-01 to the agenda. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded to add CPR 2020-01 to the agenda. Are there any questions or discussion? Madam Clerk, have you received the title?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Please
Okay.
proceed.
Roll call, I'm doing the roll call on the
Yes.
suspension of rules. Councilwoman Atkins,
Yes.
Councilman Brewer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. With a vote of 8-0, CPR 2021-01 is added to our agenda.
CPR 2021-01, a resolution of the Gary Common Council supporting moratoriums on charter schools in Gary, Indiana. Sponsored by William Godwin, Councilman, 1st District.
And it's also sponsored by the latest version, Councilwoman Ty Atkins of the 4th District. That will go to Planning and
Mr.
Development.
President, you certainly can add my name to it. For a different reason, I will vote for the moratorium.
All right,
But I
thank
will
you.
explain it. I will explain it on the radio, not during the council meeting.
Thank you, Councilman Lay. Please add both members Atkins and Lay as sponsors. Would anyone else like to join as a co-sponsor?
No, Mr. President, but I would like to have a copy of the ordinance. I have a resolution or whatever. I haven't seen it.
Yes, so it's been emailed. It was emailed earlier and a revised version was just emailed. If there's someone in
I
the
don't-
council
I
office
don't
could
know.
print that out, then you
I don't
will,
have it.
and we will read it before it's voted on. So I will ask Councilwoman Atkins to read it. So
Mr.
everyone, will
President,
hear. Councilman Brewer,
I will add if my name could be added as a sponsor also.
all right, duly noted.
Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell. Maybe the whole council, unless someone objects and they don't want their name. I don't know, but I think it would be a good idea if the whole council.
Does anyone object to their name being added as a co-sponsor to 2021-01?
Councilman Williams.
Councilman Williams objects. Anyone else? Okay. So we will proceed. And that will be assigned, if it wasn't clear, to the Planning and Development Committee. Okay. Make sure to keep track of everything here. All right, so Councilwoman Brown.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mr. President, the Finance Committee has before it CPO 2020-82. For the record, I approve this ordinance for reporting out to the council. I don't even have, oh, here's my committees, I'm sorry. Councilwoman Barnes. Caldwell.
Yes,
Councilwoman Atkins.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. President, a majority of the Finance Committee has approved CPO 2020-82 for reporting out to the council. The Finance Committee has before it CPO 2020-83. For the record, I approve this ordinance for reporting out to the council. Councilwoman Caldwell
yes,
and Councilwoman Atkins.
Yes.
Mr. President, a majority of the Finance Committee has approved CPO 2020-83 for reporting out to the council. Finance Committee has before it CPO 2020-84. For the record, I approve this ordinance for reporting out to the council. Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell
yes,
and Councilwoman Atkins.
Yes.
Mr. President, a majority of the Finance Committee has approved CPO 2020-84 for reporting out to the council.
And you just have one more 2020-85.
I'm sorry, Finance Committee has before it CPO 2020-85. For the record, I approve this ordinance for reporting out to the council. Councilwoman Caldwell
yes,
and Councilwoman Atkins.
Yes.
Mr. President, a majority of the Finance Committee has approved CPO 2020-85 for reporting out to the council.
Thank you, Councilwoman Brown. I know I'm hearing a slight echo in the chamber, and I think what happens is if you're in the chamber and you are not speaking, you need to mute, because otherwise it seems to be creating an echo. All right, so,
That's exactly what's echoing.
okay. Councilman Brewer?
Thank you, Mr. President. The Planning and Development Committee has before us CPR 2021-01. I approve this on first reading. Councilman Witherspoon,
Yes.
Councilwoman Atkins.
Yes.
The majority of the Planning and Development has approved CPR 2021-01 on first reading.
Thank you, Councilman Brewer. Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
You're reporting out?
2020, which one?
All four, 2020-82 through 85.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Finance Committee would like to report out CPO 2020-82, 2083, 2084, and 2085.
Thank you, Councilwoman Brown. Councilman Brewer?
Mr. President, Planning and Development would like to report out CPR 2021-01.
Thank you, Councilman Brewer. This time we will have our special and select. Any members would like to speak for special and select?
Councilman Williams.
Councilman Williams.
Thursday, January 21st at 6 o'clock, we will be hosting, the 6th District, I will be hosting a Zoom meeting with Chief Brian Evans, Rachel Morgan, Carol Pirtle, with the Deputy Director of Redevelopment, Cedric Kirkendall, and Brandon Hinkle, which is your Code Enforcement Officer. It'll be at 6 o'clock, Zoom meeting. Please contact the City Hall Secretary, Legislative Office, Sherry Smith, for all details. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Any other members for special and select?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell.
Boards and Commission has a Zoom meeting scheduled for Tuesday, January the 12th at 5 p.m. This is for the Board of Civic Center Managers, the Genesis Center. We have an opening there. So Tuesday, January the 12th at 5 p.m. via Zoom. You can call the council office and get the Zoom information, 219-881-1315, extension 1.
Thank you, Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell. Any other members for special and select?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Atkins.
I just wanted to acknowledge a member of our community who has been doing some great deeds. I know we just came from the season of giving, but Chanel Manuel, a resident of Gary, had a great activity over the Christmas holiday. She reached out to Tiffany Haddish, who is renowned comedian, and was able to get 100 suitcases donated to the foster kids within the Lake County area. Chanel is an employee of the Division of Family and Children Services, has been there for a number of years. And this was just a great feat that she was able to execute. One of the, I guess, mentions that we have gotten from DCFS is that when children are picked up, they do not have, suitcases, and who to think about that. And so that was a great activity that Chanel was able to initiate and get the support of Tiffany Haddish. So Chanel, I just wanted to give you a 4th District salute and let you know that your community appreciates the hard work that you did over the holiday season. And thank you for being a tremendous leader within the Gary area. Mr. President, where is Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell?
Yes.
Do you want me to do the Gary Youth Council?
Oh, please, please. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Okay, so residents of Gary, the Gary Youth Council is still looking for members to submit applications. The application is still open. So what we're looking for, if you are interested, you have to be a student, currently a junior or a sophomore, in a resident of Gary, at least the 2.0 GPA. We ask that you submit a letter of interest as well as your resume to Sherry Smith. Her email address is smith@gary.gov. We are looking for those interest letters as well as those resumes to come in from a deadline of January the 22nd, which is a Friday. So you have until 5 p.m. on January the 22nd if you are interested in joining the Gary Youth Council. We are looking to start the first inaugural class sometime in February. So please, join us and get in. We're looking for up to 11 members. Again, this is for current sophomores or juniors, residents of the city of Gary. You do not have to go to a Gary high school, but you do have to be a resident here. If you have any questions, please feel free to either reach out to Sherry Smith. Again, that email is smith@gary.gov, or give the Gary Common Council office a phone call. That number is 219-881-1315. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Atkins. Any other members for special and select? Well,
Mr. President,
Councilman Lay and then Councilman Barnes Caldwell.
I'll yield to Councilwoman Caldwell.
All right, I have a question for Attorney Colvin. Yes, ma'am. And I waited to ask you here so that the people who called me could hear the answer. And you remember the email we got about the paydays?
Yes.
Okay. A couple of public safety had questions, and also general services, about the overtime. How is that going to be factored in when we went from the 26 pays to the 27 pays?
Right.
and the
Are-
amount was changed.
Are
So-
they concerned that their overtime will change?
Well,
or
they wanted
rate
to
or
know,
something?
yes, how was the overtime
Their
going to
rate won't
change?
change. Their rate won't change.
The rate won't change
No.
because on the example it did.
For overtime?
No, on the example that you gave us on the email, the example was
That was for
like,
your regular bi-weekly pay, but
okay,
I understood you to say overtime, did you not?
yes, ma'am, yeah,
Okay.
that was their concern because they were the
No.
departments getting overtime.
Right, no, that won't change.
Okay,
Their
so
rate won't change.
their rate won't change, so, okay, I don't know, maybe if you.
I
send
could
it-
reach out to them and
Please.
clarify that with them. Okay.
Thank you, that's all,
Thank you. Councilman Lay?
Following the spirit and intent of what Mr. Witherspoon said, I certainly will not be criticizing any member of this council during a council meeting. It is my intent, though, to, and I pay for it personally, I think I can be of great service to this community. And for the lack of a better term at this point, it's called the lay report, where I will discuss in great detail the school system, what I have seen and what I know has taken place in great detail. In terms of what we were doing and to postpone the payment to the sanitary district, there is a letter pretty much prepared by Attorney McCain. I'm just part of the committee, sort of, that has been submitted to DOJ and EPA. We certainly have not received any answer to that. As I had indicated earlier, I will be voting for this, I think it's 2020-01, but absolutely for, I believe, a different reason than most people. I will explain that again on the radio. I will start reducing the time that I use during the council meeting because I am paying for it otherwise, and I can be a little bit more critical. One of the other items that, and I discussed my position with the mayor concerning this chartered school. We probably not as far apart, although we are approaching it two different ways. In terms of our conversation, it was a very fruitful conversation. Another thing that I have discussed with him, since we're going to, I assume the council will allow us to withdraw 2020-20, which has to do with the 2% tax on food and beverage, because the casinos have disagreed. I'm not talking about Spectacle, I'm talking about Hard Rock. We are looking at the possibility of exploring another funding source to get not only the technology, but possibly additional police officers. Although I haven't had really any conversations with Mr. Wolf, I have had a continuous conversation with police officers, Gary Police Department. And one of the things that was brought to my attention, we probably need at least 50 more police officers. We certainly could not have done that with the beverage and food tax. But we are, and it's in a preliminary, it's actually, we're just discussing it. But sometime in the very near future, hopefully we can put together a grant or request not only to the state, but to the federal government in terms of our police department, the circumstances. It may even be possible to even get raises within our proposal. So the mayor certainly has indicated he's open to do this, and certainly I will work with him on that. But again, so it's clear there may become times where I will no longer debate your rules or statutes with you, but I will do, if I think you've done something wrong, I will bring that to more or less the attention of the public, how I feel about it. Then they can weigh it themselves and who is correct or incorrect. But that basically will be done on what I'm going to call, for the lack of a better term, the lay report. And the first one will be this Wednesday at approximately 2:30 in the afternoon. We're still trying to work out some of the kinks in it, whether I will do it with another program or whether I will do it on my own. It simply comes down to economics. I have to work out. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Lay. I want to recognize former Councilwoman and current state rep, my state rep, Reagan Hatcher. If you would like to say a word or two of greetings, you're certainly welcome to do so at this time.
Hi, everyone. I'm in Indianapolis, just kind of getting done with the first day of session. And thank you so much. We're just happy to continue to support the Common Council and the citizens and the workers of the city of Gary in any way we can. And I'm just happy to be able to watch council meetings instead of sit in them now. Thanks.
Thank you, former Councilwoman and current state rep, Reagan Hatcher. I also wanted to note that the Common Council show will continue in 2021. Our first show will be January 8th, 2021, this Friday at 9:30 a.m. As always, all council members are invited to join us. It's helpful because they don't want but so many people in the studio. If you intend to join, please let me or Councilwoman Atkins know so that we can make sure we, don't overcrowd the place. So that again will be this Friday on WLTH at 9:30 a.m. I also want to note, we know that jobs are so important during this time where so many have lost their jobs. The Gary Economic Development Corporation is in the City Council Lounge every Wednesday from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. And they will be providing information and applications for a lot of jobs. And I'm just going to name a few of them. I can't read all of this, but just to give the public a flavor of some of the opportunities that are available. The City of Gary has open employment opportunities such as shelter director, plumber, Class B CDL drivers. Majestic Hard Rock Casino is recruiting team members for restaurant managers, chefs, cooks, bartenders, etc. There's a local family-owned small steel company looking for an accounts payable clerk. There's a local lime and stone company looking for 2 individuals to serve as a site operations manager and productions laborer. There's an apartment complex in Miller Beach area of Gary looking to fill 3 positions: maintenance technician, $14 to $16 an hour, housekeeper, and general laborer. The local bus transportation company is looking to fill a transit operator position. A local trucking company, Schneider Jobs, is looking to fulfill a CDL training opportunity. A local sugar processing plant here in Gary is looking to fill a sales representative position. There's a small steel company with a crane operator and machine operator position. Meals on Wheels of Northwest Indiana is looking for drivers for part-time shifts to pack and deliver meals. There's a new financial institution in Gary. I think it's in the 5th district. Could be wrong about that. Or 6th with Horizon Bank. They're looking for tellers, business banker, branch manager, and mortgage loan originator. There is a company in Northwest Indiana, their Maryville plant, starting at $9.50 an hour, and after hire, $11 an hour. For an assembly line worker, bending and packing boxes required. There's a company in Gary looking for a warehouse associate at $12 an hour. General production and forklift operators. Edsel Manufacturing is taking applications that you also can complete at City Hall. There's a family-owned manufacturing facility looking for a full-time meal helper. Local fast food restaurant with 3 locations in Gary is looking for a crew member, shift manager, and maintenance, $8 to $11 an hour. A local leader in truck and truck-related products is looking for a warehouse clerk, parks counter, and there's a sandwich restaurant with Munster and Sherville locations looking for sandwich makers. Methodist Hospital Northlake, Aperian Care, Love's Travel Stops, and Country Store, Dollar Tree stores, and others are looking to hire. So again, that is every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in City Hall, in the City Council Lounge, provided to you by the Gary Economic Development Corporation. If you'd like to find out further information, please call 219-741-8568. Again, that is 219-741-8568. You may also call the council office at 219-881-1315. We know jobs are very important, and we want as many people as possible who can to be employed. Okay, thank you. Any other members for special and select? Okay, seeing no one, that concludes our special and select. Madam Clerk, I don't think we have any council pending ordinances and resolutions on third and or final reading on the agenda because there was notification of withdrawing 2020-20, but I want to make sure we do that correctly. Attorney Williams, do we need to formally still withdraw 2020-20 because I know it was amended, but it was assigned.
It was assigned to Ways and Means.
It was assigned to Ways and Means. That committee hasn't happened yet, but do we need to still formally withdraw it? Attorney Williams, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Can you repeat the question?
So 2020-20 was on our agenda at the December 15th meeting. I know there were some changes to it in the interim between then and now. The committee meeting for it has not happened yet. It's due to happen next week. However, the administration has requested that to withdraw this resolution rather. But so I want to make sure it's not on our agenda physically, and I did notify the clerk's office earlier. Do we still need to formally withdraw it even though it's not physically on our agenda?
You do at some point. I mean, you don't necessarily have to do it today, but at some point you need to. So you can either suspend the rules and add it to today's meeting or do it at the next meeting and ask that it be added to the agenda. But it does have to be formally withdrawn by the council.
Mr. President, it's already set for next meeting. It wasn't set for this meeting.
Okay. I would like, I mean, it's already been announced to the public, but I would like to entertain a motion if we can to just formally withdraw it. And if we want to take it up down the road, we can of course do that. Is there a motion to withdraw?
Mr. Chair, it needs to be a motion to add to the agenda first, if it's not currently on the agenda.
Okay. May I entertain a motion to add CPR 2020-20 to our agenda this evening?
I'll move, Mr. President.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Atkins. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Atkins,
Yes.
Councilman Brewer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
Yes.
Councilman Williams, Councilman Williams,
Yes.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, vote is 8-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. With a vote of 8-0, CPR 2020-20 is added to our agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion to withdraw CPR 2020-20.
So move, Mr. President.
It's been moved by by Councilman Brewer and seconded by Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Atkins,
Yes.
Councilman Brewer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
No.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, vote is 7 yes, 1 no.
With 7 votes in the affirmative, CPR 2020-20 is formally withdrawn. Okay. This time, I believe we want to entertain a motion to consider, I know CPR 2021-01 on all three readings. Is now the best time to do that, Attorney Williams?
Sure.
Okay. Councilman Brewer?
Technically, you're going to second reading, so you would go down your second reading agenda, and when you get down to it, then we're going to entertain it at that time.
Okay.
Yes.
That works for me. I don't think we have anything else on for third and final reading then.
Mr. President,
Attorney Colvin?
you have 2020-79, which is in committee.
Okay, so we need to then vote to add it
Right.
to our agenda. And that's the tax anticipation warrant. Thank you, Attorney Colvin. We did talk about that because we need to get those dollars sooner than what will be allowed if we wait until January 19th. Of course, if it's the pleasure of this body to vote in the affirmative. I'll entertain a motion to add CPO 2020-79 to our agenda this evening.
Second.
Second.
Okay, I believe it was moved by Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell and seconded by Councilwoman Brown. Any questions or discussion? Okay, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Atkins,
Yes.
Councilman Brewer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. With 8 votes in the affirmative, CPO 2020-79 is added to our agenda for consideration tonight. I believe now we would have to entertain a motion to consider passing CPO 2020-79 on all 3 readings. Is that correct? Okay.
That is correct, Mr. Chair. If you intend to pass it on all 3 readings, there's no need to assign it.
Okay, okay. It's already been assigned to the Ways and Means Committee.
That's true. I'm speaking, I was just waiting. I was speaking about the previous one that Councilman Brewer suggested you take up on second. I mean, you absolutely can. There's no procedural harm in doing that. But customarily, if you're passing it on all 3, you simply do it from the reading and adding it to the agenda.
Okay. So let's just, for the sake of clarity on what we're doing, maybe we should still read the title for CPO 2020-79. Is that okay?
CPO 2020-79, an ordinance authorizing the city of Gary, Lake County, Indiana, to make temporary loans to meet current running expenses for the use of the general fund and in anticipation of current taxes levied in the year 2020, collected in the year 2021, estimated to be received on or before December 31st, 2020, authorizing the issuance of tax anticipation warrants to evidence such loans and the sale of such warrants, and appropriately pledging the taxes to be received in such funds to the punctual payment of such warrants, including the interest thereon. Sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Gary, Arlen Colvin, Chief of Staff, City Patrol.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. If it's okay, I'd like to now entertain a motion to consider CPO 2020-79 on all 3 readings.
Mr. President, 2020-79 had first and second reading.
Right. So I would like to consider, I guess we would need Councilwoman Atkins then to move for passage of CPO 2020-79. I stand corrected.
So, Councilwoman Atkins, you will have to make the motion to move it forward to third and final for passing.
You're muted too.
Sorry, trying to get it together. Okay, so Mr. President, I would like to make the motion. Is there a motion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To pass on third and final.
Okay, to pass CPO 2020-79 on third and final reading.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded by Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell. Any questions? We can do the overview now, I suppose, and then even though we still have to vote on the actual substance of it, I think we should go ahead and do the overview now, if there's no objections. Who will be providing the overview? Attorney McCain. All right, thank you.
May I introduce, we are very fortunate to have in our midst of this evening the Indiana Senate Minority Leader, Greg Taylor, who will be providing the overview on behalf of the administration.
All right, thank you.
Everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And thank you to members of the Common Council of the City of Gary. My name is Greg Taylor, and I'm actually an attorney with the law firm of MWH Law Group, which is a minority certified law firm. And we have the pleasure of representing the City of Gary on this tax anticipation warrant transaction. For those of you who have seen the ordinance that was read earlier gives a great overview of what the tax anticipation warrants would do. We received one bid via our public notice, and that bid has been accepted. And that will provide the interim funding for the running expenses of the City of Gary in anticipation of the tax revenue that the city will receive this year, 2021. These warrants would then be drawn down, basically not to exceed $19 million. And then once the December 31 date in 2021 is here, those warrants would then be paid off by the city. It's really that simple. It's a draw tax anticipation warrant, so you will not be drawing down the total $19 million. I think the initial draw is approximately $6 million, and that those revenues will be used for the running and ongoing expenses of the city.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor, or Senator Taylor, Attorney Taylor.
Either one is okay.
Well, thank you.
I want to say hi to my colleague Reagan Hatcher too. Yeah.
Excellent. Any questions or discussion for Attorney Taylor or any other members of the administration as it relates to CPO 2020-79?
Mr. President, I have a question.
Councilwoman Atkins?
Thank you. I just want to make sure that I understand the language as stated in the ordinance. So I understand the workings of what a TEW is. We just want to make sure the estimated that we should receive is the 35 million. But the actual loan itself, will it be the 19 million? Am I reading that or interpreting that correctly?
So we are drawing down approximately 6 million initially. The maximum amount that will be utilized will be 19 million. The 35 million that will be received is the amount that's anticipated to be received based on prior year revenue. So what happens is you can borrow up to 80% of that amount. So what happens is you will draw down up to 19 million. The remaining 16 million approximately that has been estimated could then be used for ongoing and running expenses. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you said the initial is how much?
$6 million.
Okay.
Any other questions for Attorney Taylor or the administration?
Oh.
Right. Seeing none, again, now we're just taking the vote to consider CPO to pass CPO 2020-79. If there's no other questions. Okay, Madam Clerk?
Councilwoman Atkins,
Yes.
Councilman Brewer, Councilman Brewer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2020-79 passes and is so ordered. I think that concludes our third and final. Right, at this time, we'll have council pending in ordinances and resolutions on second reading.
CPO 2020-82, an ordinance by the Gary Common Council establishing a holiday schedule for the city of Gary in calendar year 2021, sponsored by members of the Gary Common Council.
President,
Councilwoman Brown,
I move for passage of CPO 2020-82 on second reading. Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday. What is today's date?
the 4th, so the 12th probably, right?
Yeah. At 5:30.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded by Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell.
Hold on, Mr.
Any-
President.
Councilwoman Atkins?
So in our December 15th meeting, we had some things already pushed to committee. And I think Councilwoman Brown, your Finance Committee meeting is actually 5 p.m. on the 12th.
What day?
The Tuesday, the 12th, Finance is at 5.
I think that's my
Boards and commissions.
boards and commissions is at finance is at 5:30 because planning is at 6.
Okay.
Okay.
So Finance is 5:30, P&D is at 6, Ways and Means was at 6:30, but that, I think we don't have anything there anymore.
Boards and commissions is at 5.
5,
And
okay.
planning is at
It's at 6.
6, yeah.
Mhm. So I just want to make sure that we have, consistency with how we schedule today.
Right.
Absolutely. So I think we're okay. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Atkins,
Yes.
Councilman Brewer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2020-82 passes on second reading.
CPO 2020-83, an ordinance establishing a new fund, departments, and budget for the Section 108 Loan Debt Reserve Fund, sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Gary, Arlene Coleman's acting city governor.
President,
Councilwoman Brown,
I move for passage of CPO 2020-83 on, excuse me, on second reading. Finance Committee meeting on, I didn't write that date down, I'm sorry.
Tuesday, January 12th.
Tuesday, January 12th. Okay. And a final meeting on January the 19th.
Yes.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded by Councilman Burns Caldwell. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Atkins,
Yes.
Councilman Brewer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
and President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2020-83 passes on second reading with a Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday, January the 12th at 5:30 p.m. and a public hearing on Tuesday, January 19th at 6:00 p.m., both via Zoom.
CPO 2020-84, An ordinance appropriating funds for special revenue budgets for the Fire and Parks Department for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2021, ending December 31st, 2021, sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Gary, Arlene Coleman, Chief of Staff Control.
President,
Councilwoman Brown,
I move for passage of CPO 2020-84 on second reading. Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday, January 12th at 5:30, and a final meeting on June 19th.
Second.
been moved and properly seconded by Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Atkins,
Yes.
Councilman Brewer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
and President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2020-84 passes on second reading with a Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday, January 12th at 5:30 p.m. and a public hearing on Tuesday, January 19th at 6:00 p.m., both via Zoom.
CPO 2020-85, an ordinance approving subsidies for various city accounts for a calendar year ending December 31st, 2020. Sponsored by Mayor Jerome Prince, City of Gary, Arlene Colvin, Acting City Controller.
President,
Councilwoman Brown,
I move for passage of CPO 2020-85 on second reading. Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday, January 12th at 5:30, and a public hearing on June 19th.
Second.
been moved and properly seconded by Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell. Any questions or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Atkins,
Yes.
Councilman Brewer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2020-85 passes on second reading with a Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday, January 12th at 5:30 p.m. and a public hearing on Tuesday, January 19th at 6:00 p.m., both via Zoom.
CPR 2021-01, a resolution of the Gary Common Council supporting moratoriums on charter schools in Gary, Indiana. Sponsored by William Godwin, Councilman of the 1st District, Ty Atkins, Councilman of the 4th District, Ronald Brewer, Councilman at Large, Mary Brown, Councilwoman of the 3rd District, Linda Caldwell, Councilwoman of the 5th District, Cloris Lay, Councilman at Large, Cozy Weatherspoon, Councilman of the 2nd District.
Mr. President,
Councilman Brewer,
make a motion that we would suspend the rules and pass on all three readings, CPR 2020-21-01 on all three readings.
Second.
been moved by Councilman Brewer and seconded by Council members Barnes, Caldwell, and Atkins. And I would just remind everybody that this requires a unanimous vote to consider it on all three readings. Of course, you're not voting that you're in agreement with it, but I would just say that all of us at some point sometimes need something to be considered on all three readings. But obviously it's up to each member to do that. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President, I would like to preference what I'm about to do.
Yes,
I
Councilman.
am going to vote in favor of allowing it to be read on all readings, and will vote in favor of it passing. I will explain in full details. I will not use any of the council time as to how your school district has got into the trouble it's in, and whether we vote this up or down, your school system simply, I do not believe is going to ever come back. I think it's gone. And I certainly will explain why in great detail. I was systematically pulled apart, and they did receive assistance from people in this community to do that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. So what we'll do now is just take a vote on considering it on all three readings. I think that's been moved and seconded. If there's no other questions or discussion, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Atkins,
Yes.
Councilman Brewer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
No.
President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 7 yes, 1 no.
With 7 votes in the affirmative and 1 no, the motion fails for lack of sufficient votes. It will just proceed as follows through the process. But I guess we still need to vote on it in terms of second reading, Councilman Brewer.
That's correct.
Yes.
All right,
So,
Councilman Brewer is recognized.
so I'll go ahead and sign it to committee. Mr. President, I will move CPR 2021-01 to committee. That'll be January the 12th at 6 p.m. for planning development.
Let me, if I may, Attorney Williams, what would be the notice required for us to have a committee meeting sooner, and also to vote it through a special meeting on this matter as soon as Friday?
Probably couldn't pull the latter off, but because you'd have to give 48-hour notice of the committee meeting. And well, yeah, I guess actually you could. 48-hour notice of the committee meeting and 48 hours of the actual meeting. So I assume if you post both of those today, you could have a meeting as early as Friday.
Yes. Thank you, Attorney Williams. Councilman Brewer, might you reconsider your motion and have a committee meeting maybe even tomorrow?
Well, I don't think I have the time to advertise the committee meeting.
I'm sorry. The committee meeting would be as soon as Thursday or Wednesday, probably Thursday, so it won't have to be at 8:30 at night or 7:30 at night.
Okay.
So, actually, it would be Thursday, and it would have to be after. Right now, we're at 7:10, so I would suggest probably 7:30.
But today is Monday, right? So 48 hours.
I'm so sorry. You're right.
Right.
I'm so used to meetings being on Tuesdays. You're correct. So yes, it could be anytime Thursday morning.
So
it could be actually anytime Wednesday, as long as it's after the time of this vote.
Right. So I'll leave
time
that.
is place.
Okay, I'll leave that to you, Councilman Brewer. But what I would like, in full disclosure, what I would like to do, should this council vote in the affirmative, I would like for it to be done prior to the filing deadline. I think it's already public knowledge that State Senator Eddie Melton is going to file legislation related to a moratorium on charter schools. And so I would like, if this body were to approve this, for him to have that in hand prior to that deadline this Friday. So therefore, if we can have the committee meeting Thursday and the council meeting on Thursday, a special council meeting, I think that would be ideal. And of course, we'd have to schedule that special council meeting prior to the end of this meeting.
Correct.
Really.
So, Mr. President, my motion will be to have a special committee meeting, to have a committee meeting. That'll be the 7th, January 7th at 5:30 p.m. and have a special council meeting at 6 p.m.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded by Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Atkins.
Here are some results.
Yes.
Councilman Brewer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell,
Yes.
Councilman Lay,
Yes.
Councilman Weatherspoon,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
and President Godwin.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. With a vote of 8-0, CPR 2021-01 passes on second reading with a Planning and Development Committee meeting to be held this Thursday, January 7th at 5:30 p.m. via Zoom, followed by a special meeting of the Gary Common Council, also on January 7th, 2021 at 6:00 p.m., both via Zoom.
Mr. President, it's pending ordinance and resolutions on second reading.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and I would just make sure that the council staff that we post this as soon as possible to ensure that we are in full compliance with the open door law. Well, I believe we're now ready for our mayor's report.
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to all the members of this council. I'd like to extend my congratulations to you, sir, on being elected president of this August body for 2021. I also would like to congratulate on behalf of the administration, Councilwoman Ty Atkins for being elected vice president. Again, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Minority Leader, State Senator Greg Taylor, as well as Representative Reagan Hatcher from the House District 3. The administration would like to update the citizens regarding the train derailment that occurred on the Wednesday before Christmas Eve. According to my discussions with the folks at Norfolk Southern, the work is expected to be completed on this Wednesday, January 6th, 2021. I don't know the exact time, but I have not heard anything to the contrary with respect to that target date for completion. I believe this has already been reported on, but there were some questions as to whether or not there were any hazardous materials on the train cars, and we are able to report that there were not. So there was no need for any hazardous materials cleanups at the site of the train derailment. Two more things. I would like to say that I look forward to interfacing with this council in my new capacity as deputy mayor. I look forward to a very productive year. And I would like to end with wishing the men of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity a happy Founders Day on tomorrow, January 5th, where we will be celebrating our 110th anniversary. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Well, thank you, sir, and happy, I know you are I guess you're not a newbie anymore, but congratulations on your Founders Day. And let me just say that I know there was a lot of discussion and challenges with the measure that we withdrew related to the food and beverage tax, but I want to publicly celebrate, if you will, the fact that I was contacted and was given information about it. And I think that the more communication we have in compliance with the open door law, the better about legislation that is moving forward, however it shakes out. And so I want to publicly thank you and the mayor for that effort. I also want to thank you for assisting with the train derailment, and you immediately called me, and city services and crews were out there to ensure that things were moving forward. I know it's been kind of difficult having one way out of my particular neighborhood, and appreciate the people of the First District for their patience, and thank the city for its standing on top of that initiative. Any other questions for city officials or thoughts that council members would like to share?
Mr. President?
Councilman Brewer.
Yes, just want to go back just a little bit. Not so much our last meeting, but what took place with the whole trash ordinance that we had to pass with the increases and stopping certain services also. I was a little taken back when I received several calls from citizens in this community here where notice was given to them stating that the service will stop at Republic and to contact the Gary Common Council. I would like to have someone from the administration to explain how did that come about, where people was notified to call the council when the council does not pick up garbage throughout the city. It was definitely a flyer that was made with the Gary Common Council telephone number, and we received several calls that bombarded our office with that issue there. And also my second question, well, I'll ask that question first. I don't want to do that. I'll ask that question first and now I'll ask my second question. It's a follow-up with the trash.
Councilman Brewer, thank you very much for your question. The issue was brought to the administration's attention that a department directed the concerned citizen and also a member of the media to the Gary Common Council, and that has since been rectified. The administration sent out an email before the new year directing all media inquiries come through my office so that it can be handled appropriately. The Common Council should not have been contacted, but this was kind of a surprise to us as well. After your December 15th passage of the CPO choosing option 2, Republic took it upon itself to immediately stop those services. So when citizens or anyone showed up on December 16th, they immediately said that they would not accept any refuge. So the administration had no time whatsoever to transition into the new system, which was passed with option 2. So we apologize for that inconvenience to the citizens. We apologize for that to the Gary Common Council, but it has since been rectified. We are going to issue a new policy for our internal departments that will be effective January 19th, that all yard waste will go to Gary Sanitary District. The household garbage will still continue to go to the transfer stations, but the citizens will have to incur the expense of that, and any type of clean fill will go to the J-Pit for the contractors. We also intend to orient those stakeholders on that new policy and protocol within the next couple of weeks so that everyone is on the same sheet of music come January 19th. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does answer my question. Ms. McCain, the one problem that I really had was that that didn't go into effect to the first of the year. Who gave them authority to enact it right then and there when they have been made whole every year? They haven't been going without. My understanding was the sanitary district was the one that was being at a loss pretty much. And it seemed like they kind of got a little upset and they just stopped service immediately right away. And it sounded like they enacted this thing without conversation from you all. I talked to the sanitary district, no conversation from them. They just did it on their own. But they stopped service immediately from residents without, and there was enough time for us to advertise the new change. And residents were smacked with this as they had things on trucks and things of that nature there, where they didn't have nowhere to drop it off because we didn't get a chance to advertise it. This was like day 2 that this happened with residents. I'm a little bothered by that.
I understand your frustration, Councilman, and I share in your frustration that we had absolutely no time to transition to the new protocol, and we've addressed that issue with the vendor as well.
One last question.
Can I just quickly, if I may, just on that point, I don't know who the particular employee, well, nor do I want to know in this forum, was that directed a member of the media to us and to me and specifically. But I would hope that some disciplinary action, I'm not saying anything harsh, but that just, everybody should know that that's not a legislative function. And honestly, when I first got that email, I took it as someone trying to be petty or funny because we didn't pass the most expensive option that would have kept that intact. And so I just would hope that whoever did that or whoever told that person to call the council office will be notified in a very formal way of how that's inappropriate, and that others will know that that kind of thing just should not happen.
And Mr. President, it wasn't like a verbal, there was also a flyer made and passed out to residents, which makes it even more inappropriate. And so we just can't have anything like that happening from this point going forward, and accountability measures need to be enacted.
I understand where you are coming from, Mr. Chair, and we will deal with that personnel issue. Councilwoman Atkins, the administration did not create that flyer. We don't know the source of it just yet, but we did not create it, nor did we disseminate it.
Thank you. Councilman Brewer?
And Mr. President, I think I lost one of my train of thoughts, but also want to let the residents know that you still consider one bulk item with your garbage, and they will pick that up. So you still have that option to exercise at the same time. If I think of the last question, I'll call you and let you know, but I'm good now. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Councilman Brewer, that is correct. You still can put out one bulk item per week on your normal garbage collection day at no additional cost.
Mr. President, I just remembered it.
All right, Councilman Brewer.
Attorney McCain, did you all get that rectified, how the other services will be picked up throughout the city services?
That's a work in progress, Councilman Brewer. We, as Councilman Lay said earlier, we are still attempting to negotiate something with the federal government about forgiving or deferring, let me make sure I said that correctly, the payment that's due to the Gary Sanitary District on January 31st. We are also in the process of establishing our own account with Republic so that we can start to incur those expenses under the City of Gary's account for the services that were heretofore covered under the original contract.
So is that something that's enacted now? Because I asked that question because I saw that they were still picking up at City Hall. And, you know, we basically inside of what we passed, we stopped those services. Now I'm just wondering, was there something enacted there, or how did they make the conclusion? Yes, we'll continue to pick up at City Hall, but we will stop immediately picking up, letting the citizens drop off at the citizens drop-off site before the first of the year.
I was not party to that decision, nor was the administration party to that decision, but we are going to establish an account so that we can pay for the city services separately, as I stated before.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Brewer. Any other members have questions for the administration?
Mr. President,
Councilman Lay?
in terms of 2020-01, Mr. McCain, I would ask you to employ the mayor not to veto. And the reason for that, and certainly he and I have discussed it. We didn't discuss a veto, but we discussed in great length this entire idea of a chartered school. And the reason for that, I believe the bill has to be filed. I believe President Godwin mentioned it January the 8th. So I am imploring him not to cast a veto. I don't think he will, but you know, again, let me make it publicly. I'm asking him not to do so. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Lay. Any other members, questions for the administration? Well, again, I want to wish everyone a happy and prosperous new year. I look forward to a productive year. I want to remind everybody, of course, we have meetings on January the 7th, this Thursday. We have an executive session that has been duly publicized for January the 11th, and we have committee meetings on January the 12th. So we will be seeing a lot of each other in very short order. but want to wish everyone a very happy new year. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move, Mr. President.
We stand adjourned. Good evening.